Hey, how we doing, everybody? Matt here with OddsJam, and just coming to you with some more early bets to lock in for the NFL Week 10 betting slate. So, as of right now, I have 3 bets for you guys. Haven't locked any of them in yet, so hopefully the odds don't change on me, but all 3 are positive expected value. I mentioned this in a previous video that came out, I think earlier, depending when you're watching this, came out earlier in the week, about why it can be so valuable to hop in on lines early in the betting week. So for NFL, that's like as soon after lines are posted. For daily sports it's a little bit more difficult, because you have to move really quick because those lines move quick. NFL lines don't move as quickly because obviously there's much more days before the games are played, so just a lot longer time for money to kind of work its way out. But like I mentioned yesterday, it can be very valuable to get in on a line early because sometimes sportsbooks will limit how much money they accept early in the week because they don't want to get taken advantage of. But what that means is they also don't move their lines as quickly, leaving themselves open to be taken advantage of. Whereas the sharp sportsbooks move their lines very quickly because they accept all that action. So they move pretty much immediately to reflect the market. Whereas some sportsbooks don't move to reflect the market. Those are ones you can take advantage of. So that's what I will be doing in this video, is trying to find examples of early lines we can take advantage of. And the first one that I'm going to lock in here is this over 42.5 in the Cardinals versus Rams game. So I'm going to put a full unit on this one, which for me is $100. So that bet has been placed. So let's chat about this one. Of course, it's positive expected value. For those of you who have been following along the YouTube channel know what positive EV means and know where these no-vig odds come from. What I will say is if you are new to this YouTube channel, I would recommend checking out a video that I just released maybe a week ago about why positive expected value betting is so valuable, why it's such a good strategy. So I go into much bigger detail in that video. To give you the 30-second version, OddsJam back-tested thousands of betting opportunities, collected historical data, used that data to determine what sportsbooks do the best job at pricing odds, and essentially use those sportsbooks to set the market. So anywhere in which you are getting better odds than the no-vig line here, that's basically these no-vig odds are pulled from all of the sharpest sportsbooks. And there you go. So for this specific play, the over 42.5 in the Cardinals versus Rams, the no-vig odds from all these sharp sportsbooks price this at -118. You can get it at -113 on Circa, which is a really good line. But so anything that shows up on the positive EV page, you already know it's going to be positive expected value. What you can do on your end to place the most profitable bets is what you can do starting now. So if you are not signed up with OddsJam yet, I would recommend at least signing up for a free trial and then listen to the strategies that I'm about to talk about. So if you click open a play, it pulls up where we have odds for every sportsbook that is pricing odds for this play. So there's a couple things you want to look for. Number one, we just want to see, is the bet that we are placing, in this case, the -113 at Circa, is this an outlier when compared to the rest of the betting markets? Because if you think about it, if there are odds ranging all the way from -113 all the way to -140, just inherently one of those sportsbooks has to be wrong. You can't have odds that are that far apart and have them both be correct. It doesn't make sense. It'd be like if one exchange was pricing a stock at $350 a share, another exchange is pricing it at $250 a share. One of those is wrong. So we want to find out, okay, is this sportsbook that we're placing the bet with, are they the wrong one? In this case, the answer is a resounding yes. Circa, -113. Look across the board. Pinnacle, -129. Bet365, -140. BetRivers, -129. Across the board, -135, -137, -130, -130. The closest is Pinnacle, which is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, a full 16 cents higher than what Circa has it at -113. So that's step one, right? You just want to compare where sportsbooks are pricing the specific bet you are placing. Step two, if you open up, this is mainly only works for totals and spreads, but if you open up this event page in a new tab, it pulls up where every sportsbook prices the total itself at, where every sportsbook has the main lines for a total. And what we can see here, so we took the over 42.5. Majority of sportsbooks have this priced at 43, 43.5, or 44. Looks like a couple have it at 44. Looks like Pinnacle has it at 44. That's a full 1.5 higher than what Circa is offering it at 42.5. You also want to look at other sharp books, not just Pinnacle. Bookmaker, which is this one right here. Bet Online, which is right here, price it at 43.5, a full point higher than what we are getting it at Circa. And no other book has their main line, their main market, pricing this at 42.5. Only Circa. That is another example of a clear outlier. 43, 43.5, 44 is where every other book prices it. And then I know that in general, it doesn't sound like a big deal. Okay, one book has it at 43. We got it at 40, 42.5, half a point. Big deal. Trust me, it is a big deal, especially for a sport like the NFL that is so heavily bet, that have their lines so tight together. Finding even a half point edge is very, very valuable. And trust me, if this total lands at exactly 23, let's say it was the Cardinals-Rams game, the Cardinals lose, the Rams win 24-19. Not the most unlikely scenario. Cardinals score, go for 2, miss it. Total lands at exactly 43. You win your bet. 43 pushes, 43.5 loses, 44 loses. You'll feel like a genius. So getting totals and spreads, looking for outliers amongst totals and spreads and seeing where all the other sportsbooks price them is a really, really good way to just take advantage of mispriced lines and to find valuable betting opportunities, which is exactly what we have here. So first play, Rams Cardinals over 42.5 minus 113 at Circa. Let me just add this one to my bet tracker real quick. Tracking your bets, understanding whether you are profitable or not is very important. So that's the first bet that I locked in. The next one that I'm going to lock in is also a total, is also on Circa. In this case is going to be an under 41.5 in the Saints versus Steelers. So I'm going to go to the Saints versus Steelers, take the under 41.5. Another play that I'm putting a full unit on, and that one has been locked in. So let's chat about this one as well. You know what the math means. The Nova Gods price this at minus 116. This one is also an outlier compared to the rest of the betting markets. The closest book looks to be BetRivers and BetMGM, a full 12 to 13 cents higher. Pinnacle, minus 126. Then we have minus 130. It's across the board, and even a minus 143 here. You open this up in a new tab, we will see that every sportsbook prices this total below this number. So we got 41.5. BetOnline and Bookmaker have it at 40.5, a full point lower. Some other books have it at 40.5, which is just insane. Looks like Pinnacle has it at 40.5. So again, an outlier when compared across the whole betting market. And in this case, this is one that an under that I targeted for handicapping purposes. So the Steelers offense, one of the worst in the league. I think they're 28th, 29th in DVOA, 27th, something like that in offense. We just saw the Saints barely score a touchdown last week against the Ravens. And yes, the Steelers defense hasn't been great this year, but what I will say is that they're home, they're coming off of a bye, and they're presumably getting TJ Watt back. And they're a totally different defense with TJ Watt back. So it's a low total at 41.5, but it totally makes sense for why why the favorite outcome, why the positive EV outcome is the under 41.5. So this is another one I like, a total that I targeted with my own handicapping. So I love when my handicapping and the OddsJam positive EV page matches up. So this is my second play for this video, and I have one more. Let me just give this another refresh, make sure that I am working with the most up-to-date lines. And the last one that I was going to lock in here is actually at the bottom, and we're looking at the under, first half total, under 22.5 in the Seahawks versus Bucks game. So this one is just going to be a half unit play for me. Not going to put a full unit on this one, but I do think that this is another play that an under that I targeted with my own handicapping. So what, they'll let me get 49 on this one for those of you at home. It's worth a half unit play. The reason why I like this one, so to talk about the math first, because that's the most important. Again, no big odds, minus 110.2. We got it at minus 110. Gap between those two numbers, check. That one's good to go. Looking at the rest of the betting markets, squarely in the minus 120s, with the closest being DraftKings at minus 120, Pinnacle minus 121. If you open this one up in an event page, we see the majority of, not the majority, we see other sportsbooks priced at 22, 21.5, 21. Looks like Pinnacle prices it at 21.5, a full point lower than what we got it at 22.5, getting the under. And so personally, I don't think people have caught up to just how good this Seahawks defense actually is now. They were by far, but by every advanced metric, the worst defense in the NFL for the first 5 or 6 games. Look at how the Seahawks have played the past month. Their defense has been incredible. They have some young players stepping up, most notably Tariq Woolen. Very, very good defense. They have moved from 32nd in defensive DVOA like a month ago. They're now up all the way up to 12th in defensive DVOA. It's an amazing run that the Seahawks defense has been on. The Bucs offense has been horrible all year. I don't see why they should be any better. The Bucs defense has been great all year, so I think they should be able to slow down the Seahawks offense that has also been really good. Seahawks are clearly one of the surprise teams of the NFL, sitting at 6-3. So this one makes a lot of sense why it is under. It's another game that I targeted the under with my own handicapping, so I love finding a positive EV play on it. And that's going to be it for this video. Those are my 3 bets to lock in, early bets to lock in for the Week 10 betting slate. So if you are tailing them, comment on the video with your feedback, like the video, would appreciate that as well. But that's all I got for you guys. So thanks for watching and have a good one.